I'm just turning it on. Oh, was I not being sneaky?
Oh, you weren't done.
Okay, so let me know when you're ready and I'll go first.
Okay, hold on. Gotta find my recorder app.
Is it bothering you that I don't have my face mask on? I don't know how I'm supposed to drink my water.
Well, yeah.
Are we 6 feet?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's impossible.
Are the masks really necessary, or is just the table is 6 foot across?
Well, we didn't shake hands, which would have been normal protocol.
And I just
We're
like
doing
not
good.
being able to shake hands any longer. I'm sorry this is taking me so long. I just like not being able to shake hands.
It feels normal, like a country you're eating or something. That's how I was raised.
Same. Oh yeah. Oh man, me too. Here.
I tell a lot about a person by their handshake.
Alright, go. I'm recording now.
So, I guess the first question I had to ask is, we got off to a rough start when I was out of state and stuff like that, and I just wanted to know. I thought the case was already pretty much litigated. Pardon the words and stuff, but I don't know I really wasn't expecting another email from you. I didn't know where all this started from and stuff, or how it speared back up against stuff.
Okay, so initially when we had that first hearing, before we had that, I got appointed as Guardian Ad-Litem to go out, meet you, and determine and to hire a doctor to be able to do an assessment to make a determination on whether or not the order that was in effect at the time should be changed, modified, or stayed the same.
Sure.
And so we met, had a doctor, and we did the order. And then we had the hearing, and that's what that hearing was about. I think there were some other things involved, but I don't remember right now. You guys just came in, we didn't have an appointment, so I don't have to file. I haven't been thinking about it. But I don't remember what it was, but there was something else. There was something else that your attorney had allowed me to file. I can't remember what it was. But in the event, at the end of the day, the judge signed an order that modified the order creating your guardianship of the person in the state. And one aspect of that is that you have the right to ask to have an attorney appointed for you.
Right.
And so...
Well, she has to get permission from the court. That's what my understanding was.
Yes, with permission from the court.
Right.
So that was it. And then you filed a letter, and you filed 2 documents with the clerk, a letter and an affidavit. And the summary of that would be that you were asking the court to appoint an attorney for you.
Okay.
So...
If you want me to wear a mask, I don't mind.
It's okay.
Okay.
So when I saw that and time had passed, I thought, well, you asked for the court to consider whether or not to hire an attorney for you.
Right.
And so because of that, I asked the court to have a hearing.
Okay.
So that we can make the determination. So the judge, because you've asked the judge to essentially make a determination whether or not to hire an attorney for you.
Right.
You've asked permission. I can't remember what that letter said. But in any event, what I've done is I've set a hearing so that you could actually present that letter to the judge and say, I would like to hire an attorney.
I guess in essence what I was asking was did the judge show genuine concern and reach out to you being that guardian attorney and say, hey, look, I mean, can you bring the client for me? We can have this hearing? Is that, or because we filed the letters with the court and said, hey, look, and with the court receptionist Peggy Bland and said, hey, look, can we talk to the judge? And they're like, no, you can't because we have to have both attorneys present. So we just left it at that and figured, well, somebody's going to notice this red flag here that I don't have adequate counsel.
When you filed those letters, I get copies of those letters. One was styled a letter, from my recollection, a letter and an affidavit. Right.
The affidavit was from the attorney that she was talking to.
So because of that, I thought, well, I don't know that the judge necessarily had to act upon the letters or the affidavit. And so what I wanted to do was create a
Narrative.
platform for you to be able to come in and ask the court what you wanted to ask.
Sure.
That's why I did that. Well, that's why I set that hearing, is because I wanted you to be able to have a platform to.
Okay.
ask.
Let me go back. Let me refresh your memory and go back before the original hearing back in June. I just wanted to know, because I have a pretty good memory, and my recollection was is that when I talked to you, I was out of state, and you said about filing the original doctor's report with the court. At first of all, it seemed like you were hesitant about filing it because there was a lot of public or pertinent information, a lot of private information in there that you didn't want to be on public record.
Are you asking about that?
Yes.
I think what I said was Menninger filed a very detailed report.
Manager had emailed. Manager had.
I had been provided with a copy
Right.
of the Menninger report, and I said I don't want to file that with the court.
That's the way I recall. That's my recollection of it.
Right.
But then, come to turn out, it actually was filed that way. So because I believe the guy's name was Dr. Ali Ashkar, he actually testified in court that day as well. But I don't understand why that. How do we get to the point, basically?
So Menninger did a report, and you had asked me for that. Menninger did a report, and I said, I don't know that my order allows me to hand it over to you, but I said, you have an attorney ad-litem. So I forwarded the report. I asked the attorney ad-litem, or she said she wanted a copy of the report, and I said, okay, I'll give it to you. So I gave the attorney ad-litem a copy of the Menninger report.
Right, and then she actually forwarded it to me, I believe.
Okay, so that was the Menninger report. The report that I filed as an attachment to my report to the court was Dr. Ali Ashkar's report.
Right.
Which was just a summary report. He made some reference to the Menninger report, but we didn't attach the Menninger report to his summary opinion letter, and we didn't file the Menninger report. That's what I was saying. The Menninger report is the report I didn't want to file. It was very
detailed and private.
Very detailed.
Right.
And I didn't want to file that, so I
Sure.
didn't file that. But I did file Dr. Ali's report along with my opinion, because I referenced his opinion letter, which was very.
Was that per instruction of the court that you filed the detailed report, or?
No, the judge in your Guardian Ad-Litem asked me to file a report, or from my recollection, the order said, collect this information, file a report to the court, and make a determination whether to change, keep the same, or otherwise modify the order, whatever the order.
Right, because the Guardian Ad-Litem, Miss Adrienne Vincic, she literally had probably literally 2 conversations with me the day before, or not the day before, but prior to the June hearing, and that's literally all I heard from her.
Okay.
I mean, no offense, but I did not know I was going to be representing my Minnie Mouse. She showed up in court and she seemed timid and like, well, do you want me to call you to the stand? And I'm like, well, yeah, no kidding. That's what I'm here for. She didn't seem to understand what the purpose of it was.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure how maybe it's because of where the citation was served. That's how you get a hold of her. I don't know.
Didn't she say she'd never been in probate court before?
Something like that.
Well, let me say this because I'm a Guardian Ad-Litem. I don't represent you. I'm not your attorney. The attorney Ad-Litem was your attorney, so I do want to say, and I don't think she's your attorney anymore. I don't think you represent.
No, she was discharged.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, she asked to be discharged.
Yeah, but I would say I'd ask you, please don't tell me what she said, because whatever you guys talked about is really confidential. So.
Okay.
I want us to have a big long conversation about what you and your attorney talked about without having said that, without having said, hey, please don't do that.
Sure,
Because it's confidential. Whatever you guys said among
Well, could you please explain your role as the Guardian Ad-Litem to Jennifer? Because these, unless you've gone to school for 6 years, law school, these things are very difficult to understand for someone that's only had an 8th grade education.
Because
Okay.
what she means by that is my mother actually withdrew me from school, and this my entire past year, 17 years of guardianship, I did not know that it consisted of
Or should
I
should
didn't know- I
she
did not
have an
know it.
attorney to explain that to her,
See,
or can you
I did not
explain
know
your
what it
role?
consisted of because I had this guardianship this entire 17 years. I did not know that I had both the guardian ad litem and the guardian and a guardian attorney, if I'm using that correct term. You know, I thought basically there was just a guardian in the court that was ruled either in or for my favor, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, you know, because nobody bothered to give me the paperwork or the time of day.
So, an attorney ad litem, we'll talk about attorney ad litem versus a guardian ad litem. And I'm not here to provide advice and counsel for you, but, I mean, my understanding of the difference between the two as an attorney ad litem is somebody who's licensed to practice in the state of Texas, who has taken a specific course related to how to serve as an attorney ad litem, a probate.
In other words, they got through a probate class, right? Or
Yeah.
Do you have to be certified, or no?
You
You.
have to be certified.
I'm not sure if you're already an attorney if you have to be certified, but
There's a class that you take, it's 2 hours. So, but once you've taken that, then you could be appointed as attorney ad litem. The order typically says, shall represent, the attorney ad litem is appointed, the attorney ad litem shall be X. The attorney ad litem shall represent whoever it is that they've assigned to represent, shall represent so-and-so's interest in the matter.
So,
And so the attorney ad litem is your attorney. That attorney ad litem is appointed to represent you and to pursue your interests and desires. A guardian ad litem is somebody who is appointed by the judge, same certifications, to do what the judge asks, which in the initial case was
sure.
to collect the records and make an assessment and report to the court what was in your best interest.
So you're telling me that
so you work for the court. You're not supposed to do what's in her best interest.
I do, yes, I do. I make recommendations based upon what I believe to be in your best interest. Yes. But I report to the judge.
Right. So
it just kind of blows my mind that there's not that I don't know. Well, I know we don't want to discuss it, but I don't know what the other prerequisites would be besides a simple 2-hour course to say that, hey, look, you're qualified as a attorney ad litem. That explains why. That explains why Adrian had virtually why she had no experience, because all she did was pick a quick 2-hour course. That's
well, but she's an attorney too. She's been practicing for a while.
Sure. That's why I asked about the prerequisites. But you know, but
yeah,
maybe it's an addendum class that you take. It's like an elective class afterwards. I don't know, but
I don't know. I mean, a lot of times I've been doing this for a long time. I don't necessarily rely on the 2-hour training course.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Every 2 years, you know.
well, that's backed up by what 8 years of college? Is it a bachelor's degree plus a law degree?
It was 5 years of me to be a 4-year college. Well, I took 1 year off, and then JD is
Okay,
for law
so
is 3 years.
considering that we're all here
So that's plus.
in a different subject, okay? Considering that we're all here in Harris County, can I ask why did you file the motion to abate versus actually hear the change of venue? As we both know, I've never resided in Washington County. Washington County does not have jurisdiction over this case. So I'm not too sure how, I mean, seriously, I haven't resided in the entire 17 years I've been living there. I don't understand how they still have jurisdiction over this case. They shouldn't. Adrian actually brought that up. Where's your license reflect that? Where was my passport reflect that? Stuff like this. You know, motor vehicle registration, all this stuff. It's all coming back to Houston, Harris County. But then all of a sudden it seems like nobody's really, because the one question I was asked to my brother Alexander, what would you do if it was transferred to Harris County? Well, we'd fight to move it back. Please explain to me what is so important about Washington County that the guardianship cannot follow where the ward lives.
Without going into like trying to figure out, recall every single reason why. The reason why I filed a motion to abate is because the residence you were in was being sold, and the plan was to purchase a home in Washington County, and therefore it would have been moot because there's a home in Washington County for you. You're
It doesn't matter where your residence is, it matters of where does the ward reside. I could reside in a hotel. As long as I reside within Harris County, you know, I mean,
Right, but
because, I mean,
under-
hang on, what I recall is this. The motion to venue, they discussed it for all of about 2 minutes. They spent all of 2 minutes discussing it and said, well, we're not gonna hear that stuff. Move on.
So you're saying that because they bought a house in Washington County, that's why the venue wasn't going to be transferred? You know that house was bought in January, correct?
I don't recall.
It was
when
bought in
January 2019?
I don't know.
2020.
I'm sorry,
This
January
year.
2020.
I know this year's been kind of.
I wouldn't have sat empty for a year, I don't think. Well,
Okay,
No,
so
it
it's
sat empty for a while.
oh, it did?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I filed a motion to abate, and the question is, to answer
I
your
don't
question,
understand that answer.
the guardian of the person has the duty, authority, responsibility to designate where your residence is.
Okay, well,
It also says it with after consulting with you.
He has that privilege. Remember, the
Well,
guardian,
he has the
remember,
right, duty, and the
remember the
legal
guardian,
authority.
remember not only does the warden reside in Harris County, also the guardian does. Alexander lives in Harris County.
Well,
Why would he want to go and supervise me in Brenham?
the residence of the guardian of the person or state doesn't have any bearing on it, other than if you're out of state, it could have a bearing because you have to file a designation of
First
agent.
Texas Estates Code that says that the guardianship has to be established where the ward resides. That's part of the first subchapter that I read about that stuff.
When was the guardianship established?
The guardianship never should have been established in Washington County because I haven't lived there since I went to high school. It was established probably back in 2003. The reason why I moved around every 5 years, okay, starting off in Dallas, living in Austin, living in these group homes and so yeah, it's because my mother kept on cleaning up my stuff, so I just went where I felt comfortable. When have I ever resided at home? And once again I say, the last time I went to high school, or when I went to school, I ran away from home for a reason because what would if I ran away from home because I didn't like my mother because she was enforcing Christian homeschooling, why the hell would I choose to stay in Brenham? That's not my residence. I visited her often enough, but I never did stay there. The only reason why I let her use my mailing address is because she was filing my taxes and stuff. That was not my actual physical residence.
I hear you. The guardian person, in this case, has the authority, duty, legal responsibility to designate your
No, he does
domicile.
not. He does not have an authority or legal responsibility. That was his privilege.
Okay.
He was given that elective power by the courts.
Oh, okay, and I don't want to debate with you. I mean, it's
Right, but I'm
go
just-
back
I
and
know,
read the
I know,
order, whatever the order.
Well, that's what I'm
says.
saying. He was granted that privilege. Right.
Well, and you're mobile, right? So you could, if you were to move to a hotel in Arkansas, are you now a resident of Arkansas?
Depends on what
If
their
that's what you claim as
residence
a
is.
residence, yes.
Well, but
You know,
have
okay,
the legal
if you rent a kitchenette with the refrigerator and the microwave, or even if you don't have the appliances in the hotel room, that is still your legal residence because you
You're
stayed
talking
there
about
more than 2
specifically
weeks.
her because her guardian has the right to choose her residence. That's what you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes. I am referencing Jennifer only in this conversation. I'm not talking about anybody else or hypothetically. I'm just talking about.
Well, you're wanting me to believe that because my mother bought a house, she has the right to decide where I live, which that doesn't. That's not for sale. That's absolutely not for sale. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
I can't buy her a house in Port Lavaca where she's from and tell her, hey, look, you're going to live here because I'm your guardian. The ward has the right. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bill of Rights, but the ward has the right to select its own residence.
oh yeah, I am the ward's bill of rights.
Right.
So where would you say your residence is now?
My residence.
Wait, hold on a second. Don't answer that.
Why? He's asked me questions. Don't I get to ask
Yeah, I
him?
know, but that sounds like you're trying to trap him to me.
I'm not trying to trap him. I'm trying to get a determination. Where does he say his residence is now? Where
I
is
think
he
I
living?
think you need an attorney before you answer any more of these questions.
Well, that's the only question I asked. And it was a pointed
Look.
question. It was intentional, and it was a pointed question.
Don't answer it.
He's asked me many questions, and I've been very direct and candid and honest about
Good.
all my responses.
Well, you're officer of the court, correct?
I am an officer of the court.
So you're supposed to do that.
I am supposed
But
to.
she has a right to protect
So
herself.
how do we know?
And look, she does not have legal counsel to tell her what's right and wrong and what y'all can do to her if she's not following the orders exactly the way y'all want her to. That's not fair.
I set a hearing.
Hang
I
on.
was the one who set a hearing.
Okay, but
Asked-
she needs counsel before she answers any more
Alright,
questions.
alright.
I don't have to ask any
Because
more questions.
you know what?
I think her
You know
point
what
is,
I'm worried about.
I
So.
think her point is she doesn't know what is going to be.
I have 6 years of college
She
myself,
doesn't-
but it wasn't in law.
She doesn't know if this information will be reported back to the judge or how you utilize this information.
Just don't
if
answer.
the wrong question is misconstrued.
What's the
That's-
only?
that's
I think it's the only question.
Because she
I've asked
doesn't
so
really
far.
understand. I don't think she understands about all that, and she needs somebody to counsel her on that.
I understand that, and that's why she has asked in a letter and an affidavit for the court to appoint somebody, and that's why I've set the hearing.
So that she can understand. You've read the manager report, right?
Yes?
She needs to have things explained to her so that she can understand them.
Okay.
And it's
Also-
not fair to use things against her because she doesn't
I
understand.
mean, also, I'm surprised you don't know that the manager report was not used to create a guardianship. It was used to modify and continue a guardianship.
It's actually not supposed to be
They
used
haven't
at
used-
all
they
because
haven't
it's
used their-
not for.
I mean, they haven't notified me once about the annual report of much of anything. How could they continue the guardianship without notifying me? Besides giving me a citation, that says you're ordered to appear before court.
Well, the
The only
manager.
reason why they knew that they knew I was going to do that is because my mother said he attends this chiropractor, which I don't want to discuss. I mean, you know.
Well, that's in the Bill of Rights too. Now they're, that was your chiropractor, that was your vendor, and Tiffany went up there waving guardianship papers and wanting, saying HIPAA this and HIPAA that, and they wouldn't give her the information. So in the care plan, Dr. Conroy was taken off the list. So that's interfering with the vendor. So we don't go to the chiropractor anymore. She doesn't go to the chiropractor.
Per my understanding, that was your responsibility to collect the records from Dr. Kermay, not my sister's. I'm sorry that was came out as abrupt, but
That's okay. I had an order to collect records. I collected all the records. I sent emails and contacted the doctors directly and contacted.
You weren't aware of the chiropractor
records.
that you used after they issued the citation?
I don't know if I collected chiropractic records. I don't know the answer to that.
They
That was where
said
the
that we
citation
went and
went.
talked to
That's
him.
where
They
the
said that
citation went
Tiffany
to.
went up there.
The citation was issued to the chiropractor's office. How could you not be aware of it, that he was a service provider?
Man, it's been a long time. I don't remember that I asked it. I don't think I would have requested records. If I knew it was a chiropractor, I wouldn't have requested records from a chiropractor. I doubt.
His name chiropractor is in the name of his business.
Okay.
Chiropractor.
I don't think I recall.
Carmen Chiropractic.
Yeah, I didn't ask for. I don't think I asked for chiropractic records. I'm just being honest with you. I don't think I asked for. And if I knew you had a chiropractor, I don't think I would have asked for chiropractic records.
It's a service provider, right? And
Well, that's okay. Tiffany took her to get
Anyway.
glasses, and she got her a pair of Gucci's that were $700. They're not bifocals, which she needs. And she was so embarrassed, it took me 2 weeks to get her to go in there and get those glasses because Tiffany went in there and told the people in the office that she's under a guardianship. Why do you need to tell anybody that and embarrass her over a pair of glasses?
You know, and I'll just mention this briefly off the record. If it's on the record, it's fine. I don't care if you tape it or not. But
is being taped.
here's the thing. My thing is this: the reason why I've been so on edge and edgy and everything else, and I know this has brought up my transgenders and about the manager and stuff. But back then, if you remember, back in January, when no, they were correct. I had not started taking HRT hormone replacement therapy. Okay, I haven't started taking HRT meds. I just now started those a month before I went to court back in late May. Okay, the first few months of HRT, your body emotions are like a freaking roller coaster. you're all over the map. You're ready to snap someone's head off like that. Okay? I'm expected to show up in court, and then that's why I was so short fused with everyone, including you on the phone, which I'm sorry for. Now that I've settled into that, because I haven't even been on the HRT, not even a year, and I'm just now starting to notice changes and stuff, and especially with my emotions and stuff and everything else. Yeah. Unfortunately, not the voice, but I'm working on that as well. But I mean, a lot of it I just don't understand.
Right. I understand.
And the thing is this, is that I'll just mention a side note. I had my brother and sister, and of course back then they were fake breasts, but now they're real. Back then they just asked, did you really wear a dress to court? Nobody had a problem with it, including Mr. Bird. Why would they ask that? Because you can't wear the pride flag in Brenham? I actually joined a face group called P Flag that has a parents and friends of gender people in Brenham. There's a group for that.
Even though you're an officer of the court, aren't you supposed to stand up for her rights? I mean, she needs to be treated with respect.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think it was respectful for me to set a motion to set a hearing so that she could ask the court to hire an attorney for her? I mean, I did that.
I don't know what's being planned. Are you going to recommend to the court that she get an attorney?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait there's been an affidavit that's been filed. There's been a letter that's been filed. I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't reached an opinion.
I filed the affidavit, not one, but I filed two of them out of deep concern because I did not have adequate counsel. I did not have adequate counsel back then. I'm not too sure if I can guarantee adequate counsel this time. I cannot proceed with the hearing unless I have somebody besides the attorney Ad-Litem and the Guardian Ad-Litem, an actual attorney on my side, someone that I can, but apparently, Brenham's one of those towns where they don't want to abide by the law. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't seem fair.
Well,
they don't even want to acknowledge another court outside of Washington County as a point of reference because that is where I reside. The Guardian has no right to say, hey, look, I bought your house, I can choose where you live. It doesn't work that way. I'm not that far incapacitated. Remember what it said? It said partially incapacitated, not fully incapacitated. There was a report that said that there's a report that Dr. Yaliashker, he filed, which to me, I'm not going to get into it now, it was basically a bunch of nonsense. I didn't see, the only thing I heard out of you was, let's quash the venue and let's proceed with dissolving the case, i.e. abatement to abandon the case. Why would you want to abandon the case when you haven't even heard the proper procedure of where to hear the case at?
And you may not agree with me, and I understand that, but because the guardian person has the right, the authority, the duty to select your residence and has residence for you in Washington County, that's why I suggested that's why I filed the motion to abate.
Didn't you just tell me you're familiar with the Bill of Rights?
I am familiar with the Bill of Rights.
Do you want me to quote them for you?
Yes.
Okay, so I know I studied them a couple of days ago. I don't know which one it is, but I do recall in the Bill of Rights for the ward specifically stating that the ward has the right to select its place of residence without interrogation, coercion, torts, threats, etc. Stuff like this. I'm not too sure why they're allowed to proceed with this. If my mother wants to buy a house and have it sit empty, then that's her business. She didn't ask me about it. The only thing I acknowledged was okay, this is her property. If she wants to sell her property, fine. But please, give me advance notice. Let me move my stuff out.
You know that they sold half of our stuff, don't you?
Don't have a constable
They
sitting
sold
in the
my
driveway
stuff.
for 3 days.
My stuff got sold. I was not given the time to get out. They put a note on the door, changed the locks, and if she hadn't gotten a bunch of my stuff out, I wouldn't have anything. I didn't realize that they were going to throw it all away or sell it.
Anyway, I think we ought to just...
Yeah, I'm done.
I think we ought to mutually just end the meeting.
I'm done. You're supposed to protect her rights. I expect you to do your job.
I've set a venue, a platform for you to
I understand
record.
that.
Okay. Let's
I don't
we'll leave it-
understand why you would think that she doesn't need an
In the
attorney.
meantime, happy holidays.
I never, she has
Hang on.
just to proceed, and I wanna hear that too, and I wanna.
I'm just gonna handle
But
with
she,
this.
but she has to go to court and ask the court, and the court has to either, approve it or not approve it. So that's what I was doing, was creating an opportunity for that to happen.
Okay.
Yes, and happy holidays to you too. I mean, it's been a crazy year.
I was gonna say Merry Christmas. I don't
I
believe
know,
I
it's-
don't believe in happy holidays.
terrible.
I believe in Merry Christmas.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I get it. I mean, other people celebrate other things as well, so I celebrate Christmas.
I celebrate Christmas.
Good. I hope you guys.
I
have a
would
great
I would
Christmas.
hope you do, considering that your name is actually as David was named after the Messiah. I mean, seriously, Star of David. I don't know if you're Jewish background or it doesn't. It's just irrelevant at this point. But but
My mother always said, "Meant beloved." You are beloved.
I'm sorry.
My mother always said David meant beloved.
Beloved?
Oh.
Anyway, that's what she told me.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't, because the thing is this, is that my brother, he's looking at it and he's saying that I don't understand why the judge is saying I cannot have, why was it even written in there that I cannot have adequate counsel?
It doesn't say that. It says that you may ask the court, for an attorney, and you've done that, and so I wanted to create a platform.
Right, but remember, I don't know if Mr. Merman informs you of what was said additionally. I was under severe stress, on top of the fact that my brother has already said, well, my account's worth $0. I find it very hard to believe that my banker has paid my accounts has paid thousands of dollars on my account, and suddenly 1 month I'm just broke.
And what happened to the money that they sold all of our
How can
stuff?
Alexander claim that my account? Hang on. Let me further educate you, if you don't mind the phrase. How can my brother possibly claim that my estate is worth $0? Yet on the other hand, offer me a $50,000 vehicle because he doesn't want to pay $6,000 to fix my current vehicle? How is he going to pay for it?
I
Is he
not
claiming
know.
a zero sum value for tax purposes?
Yeah.
This is a guy that doesn't need my money because he's a business owner. He has his own life, and unless I discuss sports cards with the guy, he's not interested in talking to me. He doesn't give me the time of day. This is a responsible guardian. This is why my transgender friend Olivia threatened him and said, "Be a responsible guardian. Do your job."
How often is Alexander supposed to see her a year?
I don't know. I mean, well, let me tell you this. How often do they have to? I have no idea. You
Yeah,
can
there's-
have professional guardians of the person who may not lay eyes on their ward for, once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year. They may just talk with the doctors and make sure that the caregivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's kind of up for interpretation.
At the bare minimum, back to Bill of Rights, the guardian is supposed to explain to the ward in a language he understands his rights. Alexander has not done that. He hasn't given me the time of day. He surely hasn't given me copies of the guardianship or where to file a complaint or how to file a complaint. Nobody said this. All I've heard my entire life is it will be taken care of. I think we've turned it off. We're done. Thank you.